Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Vinyasa Open. My name's Rivkah, and this is going to be an intermediate class today. We're going to be focusing on back bends, heart openers, and core strengthening. So we're going to be working on core, shoulders, lower and upper back, as well as a little bit of opening up in the chest. So the main poses that we're going to do today are going to be dancer, bow, and wheel. There are going to be options for you, so if you want to take an option down at any point, that's absolutely fine. If you want to take an option up at any point, that's also absolutely fine. If you need to rest and come away, just take child's pose for as long as you need. You know your bodies better than I do, so listen to your body, take rest, or take fire. Okay, so we're going to start in a child's pose today. So if you'd like to take your knees about as wide as the mat, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Big toes touching, sit the heels and hips together, and then pad forward through the hands. Relax down with the chest and with the chin. Maybe you'd like to just bring forearms to the ground, maybe reach the arms straight out in front. Maybe you'd like to make a pillow for your head with your hands. Maybe you'd even like to take the arms underneath the body through the legs to grab a hold of your feet. Take whatever variation feels good for you today. And just start to drop into the breath. Breathing naturally and normally. And as you breathe, let that lower back fill up with air and release any tension. Inhaling to feel the skin tighten around the lower back, let it fill up and grow big. And exhale, release the tension, let it rest. Find comfort. Taking a few deep breaths here. And if you'd like to set yourself an intention for today's practice, now is the time. And if you would like to set yourself an intention but nothing specific comes to mind, you can join me in finding ease in the stillness and joy in the movement. Take a few more breaths here just to seal in whatever intention you may have chosen. And then on your next inhale in, lift your chest and head off the mat. Come right up onto your fingertips here for an active shoulder stretch. So lifting the wrists off the mat and almost pull the ground towards you. Feeling a deep stretch and opening in the shoulders. And then spider the fingers all the way around over onto your right hand side, over your right knee. And breathe into the left side body. Spider the fingers all the way around the other way, making a big rainbow shape with your hands over onto the left. And breathing into the right side body, into the ribs, the lats, and all the way down. Spider the fingers all the way around, back to the front. And then pad up with the hands and gently lift yourself into a tabletop position on all fours. Hands come underneath the shoulders here, knees directly underneath the hips, and just take the hips side to side. Come back to stillness, and we're going to come into a hovering cat just to fire and heat up the belly. So you can either do this on the tops of your feet, or you can tuck the toes underneath, whichever feels better for you, and just lift the knees off the mat about 1 centimeter, and we're going to hold, squeezing belly button into spine. So inhale in, lift, breathe, press the hands down into the mat, press the feet down, keep the back straight. Keep neck in line with your spine. And gently control, release. Moving into cat-cow. So inhale in, take belly button down to the mat, lift head and the hips high. Then squeeze belly button into the spine, drop forehead and tailbone down. Keep flowing through, arching the back, maybe taking the head to look forward or up if you have the space. And then rounding the back, squeeze the glutes underneath, maybe even look between your legs or take the gaze to the belly button. Keep moving through, flowing through one way and then the other in your own time, in your own space, in your own breath. And maybe bring a little bit more awareness now into your shoulders, the subscap area in between the shoulder blades. Find a protraction and retraction here, so squeeze shoulder blades together as you arch the back. And then as you press the hands in and round through the spine, take the shoulders as far away from your ears as you can. It should almost feel like you're trying to squeeze an empty can in between your shoulder blades as you come down, and then ping that can off your back up to the ceiling as you round into cat. Meeting back in our tabletop, we're going to take the left foot out behind, tucking the toes underneath to stretch through the back of the leg just for a breath, and then lift that left foot off the mat. Straight line. Find your grounding, and then lift your right hand off the mat to stretch out in front. Inhale here, lengthen as much as you can. And exhale, squeeze your elbow and your knee towards each other, maybe even kissing knee to nose. Inhale in, extend, reach. Exhale, squeeze round the back, take belly button into spine. One more time, inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, reach one more time, then bend your knee. Reach around and see if you can catch hold of the toe, the foot, or the ankle with your hand. From here, begin to kick your foot into your hand as much as you can, finding a back bend. The more you kick, the more of a shoulder stretch you'll get in your right shoulder. Maybe you can even turn and look towards your left big toe. Balance. Hold your core, zip up your abs. Inhale, extend one last time. And exhale to tabletop. Take the hips side to side. Once again, coming into a hovering cat. So either on the tops of your feet or tuck the toes. We lift and hold. Press, press, press. Feet and hands down. And release the knees, dropping into cat-cow once more. Belly button down, lift head and hips high. Squeeze belly button in, round the back. Flowing through now in your own time, in your own space, in your own breath. Mindful of the whole length of the spine, right from the nape of your neck down to the tip of your tailbone. Find space between the vertebrae of your spine and then compress them together. And then meeting back in our tabletop. To tuck the right toes underneath, stretch the back of the leg. Lift that leg off the mat, straight line. Hold it there. Take your left arm out. Extend. Control. Inhale here. Exhale, squeeze elbow and knee together. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. Contract. Inhale, extend one more time. Exhale, squeeze. Last time to extend. Bend the knee. Reach around, grab a hold of whatever you can, ankle, foot, or toe. Find your grounding, stability. Kick your foot into your hand. Back bend. Maybe look towards your right big toe. Extend. And exhale, take the hands back down to the mat. Take the hips side to side. And sit the hips back into child's pose, just for a few more breaths. On your next inhale in, lift back up into a tabletop. Tuck the toes underneath and send the hips high into our first downward facing dog of practice. Take whatever movement feels good, maybe pedal through your feet, stretching the backs of the legs. Maybe make a figure of 8 with your hips, maybe looking up and underneath each arm. Maybe bending and straightening your legs. Maybe nodding your head with your breath. And then lift up onto your toes and take a really slow walk all the way up to the top of your mat, landing in a forward fold or ragdoll. Take a few breaths here, maybe hold onto the elbows, take a little rock side to side. Maybe nod the head yes, shake the head no. Release the hands, inhale into a halfway lift, flat back, zipped up abs. Exhale, forward fold, soft knees, look between your legs. Inhale in to take the hands all the way up and overhead, reach high. And exhale down to heart center, to Samastatihi, meeting together in mountain pose Tadasana. Feet can be together. You can have a small gap between your heels, or you can have a full gap between your feet. If anyone suffers from lower back pain, take a gap between your feet. Moving into Sun Salutation A. Inhale in, take the hands all the way up and overhead, reach high. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, long neck. Exhale, forward fold, plant your hands down on the mat, step the feet back one at a time into a plank position. Strong core, hold it there. And then for the first one together, we'll lower down with knees. Then chest and chin, bending the elbows. Coming into just a baby cobra, so hands are light on the mat. Squeeze that upper back, take the elbows towards the back of the space. Open chest. Hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, send the hips back and up. Downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, lift the hips as high as you can up and towards the back of the space. Drive your chest towards your thighs. Bend your knees as much as feels good. Your legs do not have to be straight here. Look forward in between your hands. Take a slow walk, a step or a hop this time up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take the hands all the way up and overhead, reach high. And exhale down to heart center, Samastatihi. And again, inhale in, hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands, step, jump or float back. If chaturanga's in your practice, you can chaturanga, or again, lower down with knees, chest and chin. Slide forward either into full cobra with the hips down, lifting up, a slight bend in the elbows, or to up dog on the tops of your feet with the hips lifted. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Breathe. Your gaze or your drishti is in between your legs or to your navel center, your belly button. Look forward in between your hands. Take a slow walk, a step or a hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take the hands all the way up and overhead, reach high. And exhale down to heart center, Samastatihi. Inhale in, lift the hands high. This time interlace the thumbs like a butterfly. Lift the hands high, open chest, take a small back bend. Try not to collapse into your lower back. Stay lifted out of the sit bones. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands, step, jump or float back. Take chaturanga or knees, chest and chin. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale in, lift your right leg high, coming into a three-legged dog. Bend the knee, take the knee up into the chest to kiss knee to nose, and we're going to take that right foot underneath the body, turn onto the right side into a plank variation. To make this slightly easier, you can take your right knee down and lift up with the hips. Look up at your left fingers. Take the left hand back down to the mat. Inhale in, back to that three-legged dog. Right foot high. Squeeze the knee up into the chest. Kiss knee to nose. Drop the foot down now in between the hands at the top of the mat. Inhale in to a high lunge. Keep a deep bend in your right knee. Front knee and ankle in the same straight line. Shoulders away from the ears. Reach up with the fingers. Bend the elbows to cactus arms. Open up the chest, take a small back bend, and maybe look up at the ceiling. Exhale, hands come back down. Step back to plank. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale in, lift your left leg high, three-legged dog. Bend the knee up into the chest. Thread through underneath. Side plank variation. Look up at your right fingers. Push away with your left hand. Take the right hand back down to the mat. Three-legged dog. Squeeze that knee back into the chest. Kiss knee to nose. Drop the foot down in between your hands. Inhale, high lunge. Hips should be like two headlights of a car facing forward. Open chest, shoulders dropped. Bend the elbows. Open chest. Exhale, hands come back down to the mat. Step back to plank. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Look forward between your hands. Take a slow walk, a step or a hop up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take the hands all the way up and overhead, reach high. Exhale, down to heart center. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. 2 more times, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, we flow. Inhale in, hands high. Interlace thumbs, reach up, open chest, back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step, jump or float back. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale in, take your right leg high, three-legged dog. Bend the knee up into the chest. Thread it underneath through into your side plank variation. Option to take the right knee down. Option to challenge yourself by lifting your right foot up. Left hand back down to the mat. Three-legged dog. Squeeze that knee up into your chest. Kiss knee to nose. Drop the foot down in between your hands. This time we're going to open straight up to warrior two. Spiraling open with the arms. Deep bend in that right knee. Reach out with your fingertips. Your drishti or gaze should be over the third finger of your right hand. Deep bend in that right knee. Inhale in, lift the arms parallel. Exhale and reach towards the front of the space. Stay here. We're working through the obliques, the sides of the core. Reach up to the corner of the room. Inhale in, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel the hands back down to the mat, step back to plank. Chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale in, left leg high, three-legged dog. Squeeze that knee into the chest, thread through underneath, side plank. Option to drop that left knee, option to challenge, lifting the left foot off. Breathe. Right hand comes back down, thread through, three-legged dog. Squeeze the knee up to the chest, kiss knee to nose, drop the foot down in between your hands, adjust as needed, and spiral open, warrior two. It should feel like you're trying to rip the mat in half with your feet here. Really, really pull. Trying to touch opposite corners of the room with your fingers. Flip your palms up. Notice what this does to your chest and biceps. And flip the palms back down. Inhale, arms parallel. Exhale, reach. Hold your obliques. Zip up those abs. Inhale in, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel the hands back down. Step back to plank. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Have a little pedal through with your feet if you need to. Stretch through. Maybe find movement. Maybe find stillness. Joy in the movement. Ease in the stillness. Take child's pose whenever you need. Look forward between your hands. Take a slow walk, a step, or a hop. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take the hands all the way up and overhead, reach high. Exhale, down to heart center. Samastatihi. Inhale through nose. Exhale by mouth. Two more. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Last time. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Changing up the flow a little bit now. Inhale in, hands high. Option to back bend, but not necessary. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step, jump, or float. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Now inhale in, lift your right leg high, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, stack the hips one on top of the other. So the right hip is coming over your left. Maybe even looking up underneath your right arm. Take a few breaths. And if you feel like you are able to, you can drop that right foot behind and lift your right arm off, opening the heart into Chamatkar, wild thing. Otherwise, just stay where you are, three-legged dog. Take the right hand back down to the mat, back to that three-legged dog. We meet here. Squeeze the right knee up into the chest, kiss knee to nose. Drop the foot down in between your hands. Inhale in, high lunge. Take the hands down to heart center. Samastatihi. Take half a step in with your back foot. So the weight is still over the right leg, but you have your left toes down for balance. Moving into dancer pose, bend your left leg. Reach around with your left hand, grab a hold of ankle, foot, toes, wherever you can reach, and lift the right arm high. Kick your left hand and your left foot together, creating a back bend. And only when you have this back bend and you have stability, begin to fall forwards. Reaching forward with the right hand. Strong right leg. Keep holding, holding, holding. Take your right shoulder to your chin. 3, 2, keep kicking. And with 1, inhale, lift back up. Take the left foot down, hands to heart center. Samastatihi, same thing, second side. Inhale in, hands high. Option to back bend, not necessary. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step, jump or float back. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale in, lift your left leg high, 3-legged dog. Bend your knees, stack your hips, one on top of the other, open, open, open. Maybe look underneath your left arm. If it's in your practice, accessible to you, and you feel warm enough to do so, you can draw up that left foot behind you, spiral open into Chamatkar, wild thing, open chest. Left hand comes back down to the mat, 3-legged dog. Squeeze the knee up into the chest, kiss knee to nose, drop the foot down in between hands. Inhale, high lunge. Strong legs. Hands come down to heart center. Take half a step in. Weight is over the left leg. Right toes are down for balance. Support. Squeeze up with the left glute, hamstring. Bend that right leg. Reach around, grab a hold of ankle, foot or toes. Lift the left arm high. Kick the foot into the hand. Create a back bend, shoulder opening, and then begin to reach forward. Keep kicking as much as you can. Keep squeezing that left leg, holding your core. Nearly there, 3, 2, 1, feet together. Samastatihi, inhale by nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale in, take the hands all the way up and overhead, reach high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step or jump the feet back. Plank. Hold this for a few breaths. Suck your belly button into your spine. Press your hands into the mat for 3, 2, 1. Either chaturanga or lower knees and chest and chin all the way down, flat onto your stomach. Inhale in, baby cobra. Fingertips are light. Open chest, squeeze the elbows back, squeeze the top of your back, squeeze shoulder blades together. Exhale, release. Plant hands underneath the shoulders, inhale in, full cobra, but the elbows can stay as bent as you need to. Avoid straight arms and shoulders high, bend the elbows, drop shoulders away from the ears, open chest. Exhale, fold. Either tuck your toes or stay on the tops of your feet. We're coming into up dog. So lift yourself up onto the tops of your feet or your toes. Hips are lifted, open chest. Maybe even look up. And exhale, release, fold all the way down. Keep the left hand underneath your shoulder. Extend your right arm out long on the mat. And then begin to press your left hand into the mat. So you begin to roll over your right shoulder, just as far as feels good for you. Maybe you can take the left foot flat down onto the mat. Maybe you can reach up and around with your left hand to try and grab fingers. Maybe not. Feel a deep opening in your chest, in your shoulder. And then exhale and roll back the same way that you came. Hand down, body down. Right hand back underneath the shoulder. Extend your left arm out long. Keep right hand underneath shoulder. Begin to press your right arm into the floor. Begin to roll over that left shoulder. Maybe the right foot comes down, maybe not. maybe the right hand reaches up and around, maybe not. If you're reaching up and around with your right hand, even if you can't grab fingers, you're still getting a deep compression in your subscapular area and a deep opening in the chest. Exhale, roll all the way back. Hand, body, hands back underneath the shoulders. We're going to extend both arms out long now on the mat. And inhale in, use your back strength to lift up, open the chest. Nice and high. Relax your feet, relax your legs, relax your glutes. Use your back muscles to lift you high, palms face forward. Extend your fingers out long. And exhale, release all the way back down. Bend your right leg in, catch a hold of the foot, toes, or ankles wherever you can reach. Bend your left leg, grab a hold of foot, toes, ankles, wherever you can reach. We're coming into bow pose. So on your next inhale in, kick your feet into the hands as hard as you can, and lift. Deep back bend. Aiming to roll forward over the belly button instead of the hips. Lift the feet as high as you can, squeeze shoulder blades, kick the feet into the hands, pull the knees together, and exhale, release the knees, release the feet, make a pillow with your hands, and breathe. Now that we know what we're doing, lift the head once again. We're going to come back just one more time for bow pose. Bend the right knee, reach around, foot, ankle, or toes. Bend the left, reach around, foot, ankle, or toes. On your inhale in, kick and lift as high as you can go. Try to rock slightly forwards over your belly button. I want to be able to see your toes over your head. 3, 2, 1, release. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest. Take the hands back underneath the shoulders. Inhale in, full cobra. Tuck the toes underneath and exhale, send the hips high, downward facing dog. We've got one more big pose to work towards, guys. Look forward in between your hands. Take a slow walk, a step, or a hop up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take the hands all the way up and overhead. Reach high. Exhale, down to heart center, to Samastatihi. Inhale in, hands high. Take your back bend here. Open chest. Maybe look back at your fingers. Drive the hips forward. Inhale, lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step, jump, or float back. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Cobra or up dog. Lower the knees. Child's pose. Just take a few breaths here. Maybe coming up to your fingers once again for that deep shoulder opening. Inhale in, come back up into tabletop. Sit the hips to one side. Swing the legs in front. We're going to come onto our backs now. Last few poses. Hands by your sides, feet as close into your glutes as possible. Inhale in, lift the hips as high as you can and hold, squeezing here, glute bridge. Look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, release, roll back through the spine. We're going to do that again. So inhale in, lift the hips first, roll up through the spine, all the way up as high as you can get. Maybe this time you'd like to interlace fingers behind your back and shuffle over onto your shoulders to lift a little bit higher. If not, just do the variation we did before. Absolutely fine. Release the hands, roll back through the spine. One more time, inhale in, press the feet in, lift the hips high. Maybe again you'd like to interlace fingers, or maybe this time you want to take the hands underneath the lower back to prop yourself onto your elbows to come even higher. Release the hands wherever they are, roll back through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Now you have an option to do one of those glute bridges again, or you have the option to come into your wheel, chakrasana. If you're doing your wheel, watch me do one first, and then I'll guide you through. So we're going to take the hands by the side of the head, close to the shoulders. Take the feet again as close to the glutes as possible. We press up into a glute bridge first of all, and then press with the hands to lift up and look between the hands. We want to try and straighten the knees a little bit and look in between the hands. Keep the knees close in together. To come back out, look up at the ceiling, come onto the back of your head, and roll all the way down through your spine. So choose whatever option is accessible to you, either one of those glute bridge options that we just did, or you can come into your wheel pose. If you're happy in your wheel pose, you're comfortable, maybe you'd like to experiment lifting one leg or the other leg, maybe one arm, the other arm. It's completely up to you. Choose your option. Inhale in, lift. I'm just going to count to 5, so just play, do what you need to do. 1, 2, got you. 3, 4. With 5, look up at the ceiling, release back onto the back of your head, roll down through your spine, all the way. Take a few breaths, neutralize your spine here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Take the knees into the chest. Take a hold of your knees, and then begin to rock forwards and back. Small at first, then getting gradually bigger and bigger until you come into an easy seated position. Extend the legs out in front. Take the hands just behind your sit bones. We're going to come into a reverse plank. We're just going to hold for 3 breaths. The aim is to get the feet flat onto the mat and the body straight. So we're going to lift the hips, lift the chest. If your neck feels safe, you can drop it back. If not, keep it in line with your spine. Off we go. Inhale, lift. 1, 2, press hands and feet down into the floor. And 3, gently release back down. Gently, gently, gently. Take a comfortable seat and just open and close the chest a few times here. Open and close, almost like a seated cat-cow. Maybe you prefer to take some circles with the body, one way then the other. There's no right or wrong here. And then just come back into a neutral seated position. Take your right arm to the side of the body. So the wrist is facing forward, fingers are facing back, that's it. And then press the elbow forward, just as far as is comfortable. If you feel enough of a stretch here in your shoulder, stay there. If you want a little bit more, you can take a hold of that elbow and maybe just give it a very gentle pull forwards. Careful to keep the shoulders dropped away from the ears. Use the breath, breathe. If you've not done this stretch before, it can feel a little bit unusual. Just breathe into it. Best stretch to negate carpal tunnel. If we're sat at a desk for days on end, this stretch is amazing. Gently release that elbow, let it float back. Take a little roll with your shoulders if that felt weird. And then swap over onto the second side. Drive the elbow forward. Either stay here or take an extra gentle little pull. Nothing too forceful, just a little added extra. Breathe. Keep a straight line with your spine. And then very gently release. Take a few rolls back again. Nice and easy, easy, easy. And we're just going to do one very, very gentle camel pose stretch. So we're not coming into full camel now because we're cooling down, but we're just going to take a slightly less intense variation. So coming up onto the knees are hip distance apart. Just take the hands onto the lower back to support. Inhale, open chest, squeeze elbows together and drive the hips just a little bit forward, nothing too intense. Rather than feeling a compression in the lower back here, feel an opening in your chest, an opening in your heart. If your neck feels safe, you can drop it back. If not, keep it lifted in line with the spine. Just taking a few more breaths here. With every inhale in, find space in your heart space. Open it up a little bit more, let it relax, get soft. And then inhale in to lift all the way back up. Exhale, come down just to sit on your feet. Take a breath. And then take the hands forward onto the mat. Tuck the toes underneath at the back. So we're going to tuck them completely underneath. If your little toes pop out, you can reach around and just tuck them underneath as well to get them all down. And we're going to come to sit up on our toes now for a deep toe opener. So you can take the hands all the way up to lift in a straight line. If this is too much, if this is too intense, you just come back down onto your fingers. That's fine. Or you can lift a little bit off your heels. If you'd like to go a little bit further, make it more intense, you just sit the weight back further onto your feet. Just a few breaths here. A little bit of active reflexology. And then take the weight forward, take the hands down to the mat. You can release your toes, maybe give the tops of your feet a little bat down if that felt strange. And then to negate that, sit down onto your heels, take the hands behind you, stretching the fronts of the feet instead. Again, if this is easy and you want to go a little bit more intense, lift the knees off the mat, squeeze the heels together. Lower the knees down gently. Take the hands back forward. We come back to a tabletop and we're going to finish how we started. We're going to come into one last hovering cat. So either on the tops of your feet or with the toes tucked. It's completely up to you. Inhale in, lift the knees, press the hands into the mat. Just bring in a last little bit of heat and fire into the belly for 3, 2, and 1. Lower down gently. Last few breaths of cat-cow, one way then the other. Maybe this time taking it into a few circles if that feels better. Maybe your shoulders feel a little bit looser now. Maybe your back. Maybe take your hips side to side. And then sit the hips to one side, swing the legs in front and come all the way onto your back. Take the knees up into the chest. Give yourselves a hug. Maybe a little rock side to side. Or maybe take a few circles around with your knees one way and then the other way. And then come into a happy baby variation of choice, maybe holding onto shins or ankles, maybe big toes or insides or outsides of your feet, maybe finding movement, maybe finding stillness. Find joy in the movement, ease in the stillness. And then release the feet, take the knees back up into the chest and gently drop them over onto one side for a gentle spinal twist. Keeping both shoulder blades flat on the mat, extending your opposite arm, maybe looking away from your knees. And then inhale in, use the hands to guide the knees back up into the chest. Exhale to drop them down onto the other side, extending opposite arm, looking away from the knees. Inhale in, take the knees back up into the chest. One more hug. Maybe even taking your nose towards your knees this time, squeezing into a little ball. And then release completely down. Extend your legs out long on the mat. Let the feet just drop to the outsides, arms by your sides, palms facing up, fingers naturally curled. And either close the eyes or find a spot to focus on up ahead. And once again, start to breathe naturally and normally. A moment now of complete surrender. Letting your body absorb all the goodness from everything that you've just done. People practicing at home, please stay in Shavasana as long as you would like. And everybody here with me live, just start to bring your awareness back to your breath. Inhaling deep, exhaling complete. And then start to bring the awareness back to the body, wiggling fingers and toes, then maybe wrists and ankles, maybe moving your head from side to side. And then taking the hands up behind your head for a full body stretch as if you've just woken up, feeling like a cat basking in the sunshine. And then rolling over onto your right hand side in the fetal position to take a few breaths, resting like a baby. And then with the help of your left hand, keeping the eyes still closed, gently make your way back up into any comfortable seated Sukhasana position. You can rest the hands on the knees, or you can cover your heart space with your palms, or you can take the hands together at heart center in prayer. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Notice if anything has changed in mind, in body, or in breath. Take a moment to come back to the intention you set at the start of practice and know that the work is done. Then lastly, internally thank yourselves for taking the time out of your day to come onto the mat and do some real good for your body, mind, and soul. And we'll take one last deep breath all together, inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. And then you can gently blink the eyes back open. The light in me recognizes the light in you. If you wish, you can join me in saying namaste. Namaste. Thank you very much, beautiful people. Thank you, everyone joining at home. Bye.